Oh, everyone lost their shit over an orange.
About how good it is?
Just like, they're like, why does it have a pumpkin on it? Because it's one of those sumo citrus things that has like a top. And they're like, what does it taste like? Oh my God. And everyone, Chris like peeled his.
Oh, they were amazed at the idea of fruit?
He peeled the pith off of the orange. Like, only a serial killer like Woody would do that.
I don't like that. What are you calling it? The pith? I don't like the pith of an orange. I like to get rid of as much pith as possible.
Get stuck in your teeth, yeah.
I've never heard of that,
Me neither.
that word.
The pith?
The pith.
Maybe I made it up.
No,
is
it's
it
real. It's real.
PITH?
Either way, we all know what she's talking about. The stringy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Stringy
pulp.
your
That's
teeth.
not pulp. That's not.
No, pulp
no.
is
Pulp
like
is-
the thicker innards.
Yeah.
The thinnards.
Yeah, the juicy bits, yes.
The juicy bits.
I've never heard that word before, and so you're going to eat this orange now, and
Well,
everybody.
I was going to eat it because I thought we were taking a break, but
You didn't realize we're on air right now?
I'm going to put the peel back on.
Rewind it back up.
I'm going to repeel this orange.
This is some sort of special orange? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they are a special orange. They're only available for like 2 weeks in the winter, and they're like they're a delicacy basically. They're hard to get. Like, they have them at Publix, obviously. They cost like $2 per orange. It's ridiculous, but it's like a special occasion because they're only in season for a couple weeks.
Do they taste any different?
They're really good.
The top of the orange looks like something you'd want to get checked out by a doctor.
Yes.
It looks like something that would grow out of your dad's belly button. That is true.
I was laughing so hard. I don't know how many people are watching the Righteous Gemstones, and I don't want to ruin the last episode, but just the visual joke of Eric Andre at the end of I think that's the end of the season, the last episode. It seemed like it was. For him to go without comment from bumping his head to 20 minutes later in a flash shot having an orange that size on his forehead when he was speaking to somebody, and they don't mention it, and it's just a flash, is one of 1,000 funny things in that show that is so well done. In an age where seems to be getting harder to do comedy, I can't believe someone hasn't done that show mocking religion before. Mocking not religion, but that kind of
Organized religion.
Not
like
even
church,
no,
like big
just,
church.
Yes, well, preacher man church where the preacher is the god, but he is corrupt. I can't believe that hasn't been done, and no one's done it better than that.
I love that show so much. That is like the standard to which I'm holding every show up against for the next couple years. Like, I watched Righteous Gemstones, then I'll like go watch like an episode of Pam and Tommy, and I'm like, God, Righteous Gemstones it is such tight writing, and it is so funny. There was at the end of the season finale, I won't spoil anything, but there was a back and forth between two of the characters, Judy and BJ. It was one of the funniest thing, and it was like just of a list of like 50 hilarious moments from that episode, like for the 50th funniest thing to be this just like random aside of dialogue at the end. It's just amazing. Even like their throwaway moments are hilarious.
I would recommend to everybody. You know, HBO makes the best stuff. Bomani Jones is working with our friend Adam McKay on a show that is about to start in, a couple of weeks. I think it's
Week and a half.
March 13th that it starts. And it's Bomani's show. And it's Bomani with Adam and, a bunch of writers. A bunch of great writers, people who are like peers. This is the stuff I was telling you the other day, Stugotz. You see what Colin Cowherd's writers are writing for him. You see that at ESPN we don't have writers. That's not a thing that exists. But a show is about to be created around Bomani by HBO's best and our friend Adam McKay that opens here shortly. And this show, The Righteous Gemstones, is an extraordinary show. Like, it's real. And Danny McBride is the one responsible for all of it. Kenny Powers, who I don't know if I told you guys this on air. I know I had the conversation with you off air. They had to work with 2 years with Danny McBride to get him to throw a baseball as poorly as he did in Kenny Powers. Like, he had no idea how to throw something. It was 2 years of practice. And you see the sculpting in this show of the physical comedy that is so great of Danny McBride. Like, every note they hit is just super strong.
It seems exceedingly difficult to believe that he doesn't know how to throw a baseball.
2 years they had to train him. 2 years they had to train Kenny Powers because he was like a bumpkin. He doesn't know anything about sports, and he just never, like, it's not a natural motion. It's not something that a pitching motion is not a normal. It goes against what the body should be doing, how it should be moving.
But if you're athletic, you should be able to do it. So he's probably not that athletic. So they had to teach him how to do it.
And knows nothing about sports. And it took McKay says 2 years.
Am I being too myopic in thinking that, like, it shouldn't be that hard to pick up? Like, am I viewing too much of my life through the prism of sports that, like, figuring out how to throw a baseball poorly should not really be that difficult?
You tell me how many have done it well, right? Because Nuke LaLoosh was ridiculous, and Kevin Costner made a damn career out of being somebody who didn't look like an idiot as a minor league baseball or whatever he was doing in baseball. All that he was doing in baseball didn't look unnatural. But how many? I told you one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie. I hope somebody clips this and shows it. Is John C. Reilly in one of these dumb baseball movies as a catcher running toward the wall to try and catch a foul ball.
For love of the game. That's the Kevin Costner movie.
It was bad.
You have to look at John C. Reilly had no idea. It had no idea how to go chase a foul ball.
This is a question that Kate and I have talked about on Off the Looking Glass, which I really am torn on the answer of. And that question is, would you, as a director, rather cast an actor and have to teach them how to play sports in a believable way? Believably.
Always there for you.
Or would you rather
Why'd you say that with resentment? Always
You wanted me to leave earlier. What do you mean?
I love you.
He's the worst, but he's helpful sometimes. Would you rather cast an actor and teach them how to play sports in a believable way? Or would you rather cast someone who's good at sports and try to teach them how to act?
Well, Stugotz has made fun of me for years, and if we're going to do topics that we've been doing for years, we will then celebrate Russo and Stephen A. in a second a little more, because Stugotz is convinced that Chris Russo, at all points in his life for the last 50 years and for the next 50, will pull people aside and have the argument, try to have the argument, shot for your life.
Any chance he can get, dude. I'm telling you.
Who do you take?
I played the game with him. I mean,
but Stugotz and I have had this argument for a while, because I believe acting is actually pretty easy if you give me the kind of training that an athlete gets to be an athlete, right? If I applied 2 years, the 2 years they applied to teaching Danny McBride to throw a baseball, if I gave it acting classes to an athlete, I think that some, not all, but some would be able to end up figuring it out. Method Man has become, not that he's an athlete, but Method Man has become a hell of an actor. And one of the reasons he's become a hell of an actor is because he just says, yeah, rappers are liars. We're good at lying. So he's learned, the craft can be learned easier than it would be for Method Man to be an athlete.
Well, the reason that Kate and I were talking about it was because we watched Love and Basketball, and originally Serena Williams was sent the script for it, and she was supposed to play the lead role, which would be obviously not a tennis player, a basketball player, but they would teach her how to act. Fortunately, they went a different route, and I think Sanaa Lathan ended up playing in that role, and she was phenomenal. She was fantastic, and they taught her how to play basketball, even though she had never played professional or collegiate basketball before. But they were able to make some pretty convincing basketball scenes with her because she was such a great actress that she was able to make it convincing.
Dan, I have an example of you at the beginning end of acting. So do you think from here you can evolve within 6 months of training to be appreciably better than this?
How's life in the real world? She's still dreaming about laying people out.
Let me tell you something, Dan. Right now, my dreams are all about deals and dollars.
What is the end game here, though, Spence? Is it agent, broadcaster, coach?
Hell, you're such a star. Why not own the damn team? Why yet?
you nailed it, man.
I am not
the cigar. I mean, all of it.
I am not alleging that I can do it. I'm simply alleging that Ray Allen can.
You did just say moments ago that with 6 months of training, you could be a really good actor.
I said that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, wow. I didn't. I said that.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I forgot it already. I didn't think I was speaking for me. I thought that for 2 years I could give an athlete, the right athlete, some kind of training. If I applied the way that that Danny McBride did to throwing a baseball.
Right.
How long would it take Stugotz to be as good of an actor as he is a golfer?
I feel like I'd be a good actor with training.
God.
I do.
Well, he thinks he'll be good at everything.
Dude,
he always does.
What you demonstrated in the musical was a distinct lack of vocal range.
That is singing. It's not acting. Singing and acting are two totally different things. And thank you. It was a play that's a fine.
The musical is coming out in about an hour.
I'm nervous.
If you're listening to this in order, we all are. We'll listen to it together. You just heard Jessica mention Pam and Tommy. Seth Rogen, believable as a mafioso tough guy? Because...
Well, I guess he wasn't really the tough guy. He was like, he found himself in that situation by doing something that was pretty shitty. And the show started off like really, really strong, and then I think it kind of has fizzled out since. I haven't finished it yet. I have one episode to go. But I thought Seth Rogen was one of my favorite, and Nick Offerman were two of my favorite parts of the show, just because they were in these really unusual roles that I wouldn't really like. Seth Rogen's always playing like the stoner guy, which this character kind of is. But he's also like kind of a bad guy. He does something terrible.
But this is my point. The reason I bring up Seth Rogen is because he's learned how to become an actor in front of us, right? With 40-Year-Old Virgin. But he is that stoner guy. Like I don't know how much acting he's been doing in these movies. He's a funny man, and now he's trying to broaden his range, and he's trying to do something that's different. And I don't know how believable he was, but I do believe, like Seth Rogen is a special acting talent. I like him. But if I told you Seth Rogen was walking down the street, that everything you've seen of Seth Rogen in public, you don't think thespian. You don't think that guy's got range, and he's one of the most marketable actors we have anywhere in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons in the show that his performance stands out to me is because he's playing a character that I don't know in real life, whereas Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, we all kind of know and have opinions of. And so that portrayal has gotten more criticism, like Pam... the portrayal of Pamela Anderson has gotten specifically more criticism for being like pretty just simple in its politics. Like, they did her wrong. This is like an apology to her. And there's really like no more nuance or layer to it. So I think it's interesting. Like Seth Rogen's able to bring whatever Seth Rogen has to this guy that you've never heard of before.
Is this the first time he's tried that? Has he done, because he was doing End of the World and he's doing the goofy stoner stuff he's being like a 40-year-old teenager, and that's not to say
he's great at that.
It's not to say he has not made good movies that way, because I have enjoyed much of his work. So I don't mean for any of this to sound as slander to Seth Rogen, but this sounds like a role that he's never tried before, or that in my experience, he had the movie he did with Sandler, the movie, the comedy, not comedy, did he not?
Funny People?
About dying, about a comedian on his last legs dying of cancer, who was Adam Sandler. I don't remember what the name of the movie was.
Funny People, I think, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't been in too many serious roles, but I always have kind of taken him more seriously because he has so many executive producer and producer credits that I know how like difficult that must be. So he obviously like must have some other like writing and producing chops other than just being like dumb funny stoner guy when he's
I assume that he learned
acting.
it all in front of us is what I assume. That we saw The Climb. He kind of stole, right? He accidentally stole 40-Year-Old Virgin that had Steve Carell in it because of what his part was. It wasn't even a big part. Was that his coming out party? Was that a leap?
That was his coming out party.
Was that was it a leap? Was it an arrival?
I think he skips that was an arrival. Yeah, I think
no,
he skipped.
Freaks and Geeks. Freaks and Geeks was his first show. That is a cult classic. People who watched Freaks and Geeks when it originally came out, like way back in the 2000s, will say that show is what made Seth Rogen, James Franco. There's a whole number of people from Freaks and Geeks that ended up getting really famous in tons of parts in Hollywood.
But he announced himself with 40-Year-Old Virgin. He made a leap when he did Superbad, did he not?
I think announced himself is a big shout because
Knocked Up was something.
Yeah,
Knocked Up's got to be
You have to remember before
that was his first main lead.
Steely Dan gargles my balls.
It's a good line.
Before Seth Rogen was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, he was an anchorman, and his role was eager cameraman. So, like, he was very much a bit part player in the McKay Apatow universe.
That's just him getting a crappy little role, though. That's literally, I don't even think he's funny in that role. The anchorman role is just.
But that's what I'm saying, right?
But that doesn't count. But that doesn't count on his like steps up to becoming who he was.
But that's where he was in Hollywood before being the guy in the tech store in 40-Year-Old Virgin and stealing basically every scene that he was in.
McKay, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to say it anyways, just because the stuff happening. No, just the ridiculous stuff happening to the show is funny. I actually got a text from him that I thought was a joke that was not, which was just the question, hey, would you guys like Aaron Sorkin to write a local hour for you?
What?
Are you kidding me?
No thanks.
I thought.
What?
Are we all going to be talking really quickly,
Yes.
pacing around,
if I
flying by
don't
each
get
other?
to do a walk and talk during this local hour, I'm
we
out.
have to
I
do
am
it.
out.
Wait, hold on. Are we performing?
I
Is
don't
it a
know. I
script, or is
just
he-
I
is
thought
he
it was a joke
performing
The
it?
ping pong
initially.
dialogue? The ping pong dialogue.
Oh
The
my
ping pong
God.
dialogue?
That-
The ping pong dialogue.
Inventing Anna is all of that. I don't know if you guys have seen that show. That show stinks.
I
It's
saw the
so
first
bad.
episode and I got mad at both her accent and I got mad at the show in general for being. I thought the story was interesting and I didn't think that the dramatic reenactment ended up showing the story that I found more interesting, which was the factual one.
How'd you respond to McKay? I mean, where'd you leave it?
I'm talking to him. I want.
You're in
but he's not-
negotiations?
no, it's not negotiations. He likes to help the show, and he does. He appears every once in a while. I told you already that he's appeared with John C. Reilly and Jonah Hill to do some of the shadow shit we were doing during the pandemic at ESPN.
My peak on the show was when you told me Adam McKay liked the bit where I said I was glad my grandparents were dead, so I didn't have to explain Peacock to them. And I have just been waiting to peak again ever since. It has all been downhill since then.
No, and Chris showed up at his door. They were surprised that he was genuinely delighted to meet them like they were Disney characters. It was weird to
Yeah.
both of them to find that he was excited to see them.
We met initially, and I think because we were asked to wear masks inside because we were in someone else's house. It was a polite thing to do. So I said, "Hey, I'm Chris." He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I think you and then I lowered my mask. He's, "Oh, you're," and it was like, "Wait, what?" Like it was ridiculous.
Chris Cody deserved it. He's back in the back
Yeah.
row saying, "I deserve that."
No, that was for Witty. He knew me. He knew me through the mask. Witty, he needed the mask to be lowered. Red hair. Very distinct.
Maybe we will do musicals in the future with Adam McKay, written by Adam Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin, that's a fine.
Oh my God,
Mark it.
$10. I mean,
Can I eat my orange yet?
I want to try it.
I want to get a role in a McKay movie. Damn, make that happen.
I have been pitching myself to Bill Lawrence, the creator of Ted Lasso. I have been doing it via direct message, and I think we're getting there. He said it writes himself.
You're going to be like Burnley's coach next season?
I said, listen, there's a retired lacrosse coach who would like to join Ted Lasso's staff. He said it writes itself.
Oh, you're on the staff, so
Yeah.
you're not just a little character. You're like a main on the staff character.
Assistant head coach, yes.
Yeah,
You're gonna write it
you
yourself.
with Nate at West Ham.
Chris, put it on the poll. Are you surprised at all that Stugotz is trying to finagle a major role in Ted Lasso?
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Are you surprised at all that Stugotz is trying to be the manager of Burnley in next season of Ted Lasso?
It's a hell of an orange. I mean,
So good,
Isn't
right?
it just an orange though?
No,
like we're
tastes
building
different.
this up like it's just an orange.
it's sweeter.
Yeah, and
It
it's
really
easier
is.
to peel.
Mm-hmm.
That
Comes in
part,
nice
it did
segments, no
seem easy.
seeds.
It did seem easy to peel. That I'll give it to. The taste just kind of tasted like a nice orange.
Speaking of polls, who's winning this Take for Your Life poll? Because last I checked, it was extremely close. Also, I would like to envision like what the scenario is. So I'm dangling from a cliff by my pinky fingernail, and either Stephen A. or Mad Dog has to deliver a take
Yep.
to save my life.
Yeah, let's paint this picture. How is this?
Who's
how are
judging the take?
How are they saving our lives?
How are
with
they
a
then
take?
saving
No,
us?
this is how it's happening. You are hanging from a cliff. You're panicked. You have one choice to make. And the only choice is, I need my life saved. Who's going to give the bigger take, better take for your life?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to give it? You got to choose Russo or Stephen A.
So it's like the noise meter at a stadium. The better the take, the more the noise meter goes up, and then you're
Yes.
stronger
Noise meter
to
never
pull me
goes
up.
Somehow
down.
this take could save your life.
No, the
Yes.
noise meter it fluctuates.
No, it doesn't. It
does.
always
It's-
goes up.
It's not a.
There's never a time that they bring the noise meter out.
Sometimes
and it
I don't
goes, it
clap
just
and that
dies
thing doesn't
out.
go up.
It's designed to go up.
No, it doesn't go up if I don't clap. What?
So let's have a take about the take masters and their takes. I want to have a take. You have to choose between them.
I like in this scenario having judges for the take. I know that Around the Horn has a point system, but I would love for one debate show to have actual judges. And there's like at the end, like they
Round
hold,
one, Russo.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we have
that-
scorecards. You go to Howard Letterman and tells us what the scorecard is of the fight.
Reality's too willy nilly with those points. It's like he's someone's talking and it's like, oh wow, okay, 1, 2 points, and then they say something, he does like 4 extra points. It's like
That's a whole
it's
scam.
too
that show.
subjective.
I
It's
mean,
too
I'm telling you.
subjective.
Yeah.
It's Harold. Fine. Woody.
What did I say?
Howard.
Oh shit.
Do you guys want next Wednesday to do
Hump day.
take for your life.
Yes.
Where we tune in.
Why just next Wednesday?
To Mad Dog. Well, we haven't started it yet. And I need the segment I need to think about what the segment will be.
Right.
On Wednesday. And if we can do it successfully, if we can match the greatness of the takes and then make it for Stugotz's actual life. Make it where it ends with us trying to go viral by killing Stugotz or saving him.
Why are you laughing?
I'd like to not do that.
That would crush on socials, Stu.
Can I get paid for it?
I have felt for this man, a musician, an artist, over the last few weeks as he has descended into a hell and asylum of his own making.
By working with me.
Just all of it. Just this guy, he's a fan of our show, and he decides to do a passion project, and he bites off a stupid thing that's way too much to chew. And so he turns around a musical in a handful of days when these things takes months and take years. So JT Daly, thank you. We're releasing this today. Mike Ryan wants it to be a successful album. I don't know who that money goes to. You, I hope. I don't know how it is. Stugotz probably.
Better go to me.
Probably Stugotz is how this will work. It's going to be released today. It's a fun day. It's a nice day. We've really enjoyed working with you. So if you want to take people behind the scenes here, thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing this, on what you've been doing with us, how you've been doing it. You've never done a project this stupid, right? Or this lo-fi where you're just stuck, surrounded by boxes in a cold room, empty boxes that would have been thrown away.
Yeah.
That was your acoustic studio for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. You might be you would be surprised. Like a lot of sessions that I've done actually are, they can be that lo-fi. Like people just want to record things these days wherever they are. They don't want to, go to any crazy lengths. They're like, give me the microphone right here and I'll do it. But none of those places are below 0 temperature, which yours was. I got sick the first weekend off of working in that. Like I remember Mike asking me, are you okay? Like, is your nose is running? I was shaking. I was so cold. But this whole mess got started, I guess. Mike just asked, do you want to, write a musical? And I said, I know that I should say no, but I'm going to just say yes. And we came, and honestly, looking back, I'm kind of shocked that it worked in a lot of ways. At least I think it worked, because nothing could go wrong. There was no room for error. Like there was one day, Chris Cody, when you asked, you were like, oh yeah, I think I'm doing vocals tomorrow. And we had your vocals scheduled for 3 for a song that we hadn't written yet. And there's no room for error. And I think you said something like, oh, I can't wait to hear it. And I'm like, me too. I don't know what's happening here.
This is not the way to do it. Suffice it to say that if we can actually make this something that has a modicum of success, it will be it's just absurd to do it this quickly. You've written an entire musical.
Yeah, 100%. I it can take years. I'm a pretty fast producer, and I think that because I actually thought about it, my wife asked, and she was like, how long do you think this would take you? And I was like, fastest 6 months. And we did it in 28 days, but it was 28 days. It's the only thing I did for 28 days, every single day, up until the day before, this is coming out. I've turned it in. And I'm proud of it. I think that it was so exciting, the fact that we actually A, pulled it off, and B, just that all of you guys were into just trying it. I think that's what I've always loved about this show, is that you guys are constantly evolving. And
I'm not.
It was, yeah, well, honestly, you kind of are in some ways, though. You just came in and went for it. We did a vocal over Zoom. I think that, that would blow some people's minds in your own shipping container. The fact that we even got you to record something on Zoom. I just couldn't believe that everyone was like, all right, Mike signed us up for this, and I'm just diving into.
All right, you need to reduce the expectations. You're being way too nice, and you're selling the idea that.
Well, he didn't say the product was great. He just said we were nice.
It's a success in that it got out. Whether it's good or not will be for the crowd.
Exactly. It's finished. Like, I can't believe. Truly, 11 songs were written and recorded. That in itself is a feat. Whether or not it translates, we're gonna find out.
JT, I have a bone to pick with you. You told me that I was the musical MVP, but apparently you said the same thing to Chris Cody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rank us.
Well, I mean, I told Mike I had superlatives. I don't know if we want to go there, but
no, let's do this. We're gonna top 5 people that JT worked with. Let's do it from reverse order. Top 5 list.
Well,
top 5 people that I worked with?
Here.
He has his own superlatives.
The rankings on
he
this.
put thought and effort into his own superlatives too. Like, best smile.
I mean, well, this is going to be tough. I'm going to have to do this on the fly. Like, I guess all of your guests do.
All right, let's, this is how we do top 5 lists, except for Stugotz, who has all of his written down and always has them available and never does them off the cuff. Everyone else around here has to do their top 5 lists off the cuff, and we just sort of give you some filibuster to come together with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in order.
And if they're a name that you so happen to have given a superlative on your own, make sure to add that to your description.
I have the top 5 Mets lefties if you want some time. I mean, it's up to you. Or I have top 5 European basketball players.
You know what? I'm just going to dive in, and this is going to crash and burn live. Here we go.
All right. Number 5, according to JT Daly, who's wasted weeks of his life. You can do this if you want, Stugotz. As he does 5, you can come up with whatever from your list is there.
Tom Glavine.
Okay, but that's okay. Wow, you gave us 2 of them. Number 5, JT Daly, best person to work with, or what are we doing? Most talent? What are we doing here?
Who do you enjoy working with?
I'm gonna start with you, Dan, because we were trying to direct you.
Suck up.
I need to stand up and imitate this. We had this line, it would be like da da da, and we kept on trying to tell you to do it, and you'd be like, all right, I got this. And you'd put on your headphones, and then you'd close your eyes to sing. And it'd be like, no, you have to watch us. We're directing you. And then you told us with so much conviction that you needed to close your eyes to feel the lyric. Like you wanted to be there. And we kind of laughed about it. And then I came back and I was mixing it. And I was like, damn, he was right. You actually, I feel what you were singing. And I know that, some of your fans are going to make fun of me for saying this, but honestly, I'm like, man, Dan meant it. He went for it. So number 5 was Dan.
Did you pay him yet?
No, but I was he's too nice. One of the problems with him is that he's way too nice.
No.
His sound isn't, his sound quality isn't, but he's too nice. And I was only closing my eyes because it's so vulnerable that I didn't want you guys to see me.
It got more and more vulnerable after we kept doing more takes because you wouldn't open your eyes.
We can also still see you when your eyes are closed. You're the one that can't see.
I didn't want to see you seeing me, though. Number 4.
Sid Fernandez.
You are okay. That's number 3.
Sid.
All right, that's number 3 on Mets lefty. It wasn't Mets lefties, just lefties. Greatest lefties of all time.
You got it.
Oh, Glavine. That's right. I think of him as a Brave. My bad. Number 4, JT.
All right, I'm going with Roy.
Wow, upset.
Yeah.
Who also was my superlative for biggest surprise, because not only did Roy deliver a few one-take vocal performances, but a sultry tone.
Seductive, for sure. He likes singing.
Yes.
He likes singing. Yes. We underutilized him. I think that's the greatest regret you have, is it not, Mike?
My biggest regret also, because working with Roy turned out to be such an efficient deal that was deeply necessary to the production of turning around a musical in 2 weeks, that I wish I wrote more for Roy as opposed to someone that wouldn't open their eyes.
Number 3.
I'm gonna regret so much of this list, but I guess I'm gonna go with Ron McGill.
Wow.
What a surprise for the audience there. Yes, he came in and rocked it, even though the boxes weren't stacked high enough in the studio because he's too tall.
He was, it was insane. I'm really excited for people to hear that one. Just fearless. Just went straight into character. And it's probably not character. I think it's a testament to just him. He's just like, nope, don't care. I'm not afraid of alligators. I'm not afraid of this microphone.
We're all caught up here, Dan. He's at 2, I'm at 2, so be clear on who you want to go next.
All right, number 2 lefty of Mets lefty of all time,
Bobby Ojeda. Bobby O. He cut his finger off. He was hedging the bushes.
That's true. That is something that happened. It was his pitching hand, right? You can't really have that happen.
Yeah, but he still went out there and got you 15 wins. I mean, what Bobby O did.
Compiler. Number 2.
I'm going to go with Chris Cody on this one. Because, man, guys, also, I'm really in the struggles over this list, but I'm going with Chris because my favorite part about recording him was that he would deliver a perfect vocal and then immediately followed up with ruining the take by saying that it was horrible. He would be
I would start apologizing. Like, I'd do it, and I'd be like, sorry about that. I screwed it up.
Yeah, so then we would have to do it all over again. Be like, yeah, that was horrible. And I'm like, you hit the note.
Just finish saying yeah, then we'll decide if it's
the
horrible.
Self-criticism arrived before you had finished the note. That's some real self-loathing.
I was trying to impress him, and
It's the opposite of what song should be in your heart.
The self-loathing in that is perfectly captures Chris's essence.
There were so many takes that we could have done something with, but he just ejected on it midway. Yeah, oh, nope, sorry, you can't use that. Not one bit. It's terrible.
Yeah.
No, we can do something with it. Yeah, oh, nope, that's shit. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
I know. So many of them. So, but I will also say a little, Easter egg here for the listeners. Chris also sent me a voice memo of him just like ad-libbing and doing all these things, and it was so good.
I was asked to do that. It wasn't like I just did that on my own.
Yeah. He was like, just in case you need this, dude. But it was extremely long, and I was able to use it in like 5 songs. So
all right,
just Chris celebrating and yelling. And then, Stu, sorry, I apologize.
Number 1 Mets lefty of all time,
Jerry Koosman. Koos.
A stunner.
No Johan. They're only no-hitter, right?
Yeah, he's a twin. I mean.
A stunner.
And Glavin's a Met.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Got it.
But Bob Ojeda won 15 games once.
Yeah, he was just not that good.
That's what he does. He gives you the 15 wins.
Yeah, spot starter.
Not even a workhorse.
Times Squared in New York, I thought.
Number 1, JT Daly. The person you enjoyed working with the most was?
Oh, damn. I'm just now hearing you word that sentence, and now.
All right, well, how were you doing it? Let's do it another
way.
Then.
Well, I will say it needs to be acknowledged there is an MVP here, and it is Jess. Jess is the MVP.
Wow, Jess. Stugotz is furious right now. Stugotz is enraged.
I am. Yeah, no mention. I mean, nothing.
A multitude of reasons.
Name them all.
But first, you can sing.
Go on.
You were willing to do many parts, and you were a fast learner. A lot of your vocals on this, I was singing them to you seconds before you were singing it. So I'll just be like, people cheer. And you'd be like, people cheer. And be like, all right, yeah, we got it. Next. But also, without you, this would have just been a choir of dudes.
Yes.
And there is nothing worse than a choir of dudes.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is there anything worse than a choir of dudes?
I left out Frank Viola, Sweet Music. Oh,
he's a twin.
Yeah.
He's a twin, not a Met. As you put this out, though, as we release this into the world, Mike is very scared. He is feeling very vulnerable. You are feeling how about this? This is a project of great passion. You are now putting a piece of art out into the world that you're giving the audience your vulnerability here. I've been working on this thing. Please like it. Will you like it? I've cared about it a great deal. It's made me a bit insane the last 28 days, but you're a fan of the show and you're a fan of the inspirations around the show. You're feeling how as we release this into the world in moments?
Probably like Mike, kind of vulnerable, but I feel like we accomplished what we set out to do. We wanted to try to make something that sounded as good as possible while also not taking it seriously, which I think is just an exaggerated version of your show. It's just never been a musical, and everyone, showed up, which was pretty mind blowing.
It
So
was
I hope it works.
It was
We'll
a
find out.
pleasure for you to show up. We enjoyed collaborating with you. All of us did. I know I speak for all of us in saying that we are proud of what you've done, even though we have not heard it. We have only heard snippets. We want to listen to it with the audience. Mike started to play it the other day in the kitchen, and we heard snippets, and we all agreed, no, let's hear it with the audience. We're excited about this, and if it fails spectacularly, we can all just sink into it. We can all just sink into it, sink into the failure.
Yeah, we'll be depressed together. I like that stuff.
You might have ruined a blossoming pop music career as a producer of several critically acclaimed songs and multi-Grammy nominees, and you may have just thrown it all away to work with Stugotz over Zoom.
Yeah, I will say, real quick, can I throw in one other small thing? I think one of the highlights, which was something that I was going to bring up, but I haven't found a way to do it, so I'm just cramming it in right now, is that Stu, multiple times, we would be like, yeah, say this phrase, and he would always end it as a question, and we were just like, I don't know, I don't want to give away too much, so let's say the line is, we're gonna score a touchdown. He'd be like, we're gonna score a touchdown? Be like, no, like it's not a question, and he still would deliver it as a question. And then I loaded his vocal into this Melodyne software. Nerds will know this. And it's like it's a keyboard, and you see the notes and you can adjust the note. And the keyboard didn't even acknowledge it as music. It just looked like, like a Pollock painting just splattered across my keyboard. And then I needed him to hit a single note. And I'm like, all right, Stu, can you do this? And I swear to you, and we have filmed this, we have proof. Stu nailed it. He did it.
And Jess is the MVP.
Stugotz, after leaving a Jackson Pollock painting on your computer, he walked out of the cardboard and was like, one take, I killed it. He swaggered out of here.
And now I understand the show's frustration.
He always wins. He always wins, JT. Thank you for doing it with us. It really was a pleasure, even though I'm embarrassed by what you had to endure.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, JT.